sun, scientists at NASA have given us some amazing images. And they've discovered there's actually an enormous dark hole over our sun. Corey Powell's editor at large, Discover Magazine, here to look at these images. Nice to see you, Corey.
Yeah.
What is this?
Weather map on the sun. You'll notice part of the sun is missing. So this is a picture of the sun in ultraviolet rays. What you're seeing is this is 3.5 million degree plasma erupting from the surface of the sun. This part that's missing, the reason it's dark, is that whole chunk of the sun basically ripped off, blew out, and is coming our way at about 2 million miles an hour.
Our way.
Our way.
That doesn't sound good.
Well, I mean, this kind of thing happens all the time, but you don't very often see something that big. So I'm going to go all Carl Sagan on you here for a second. So this is about 80 times as wide as the Earth. If you're looking at the Earth on this scale, it's about that large. So this is an incredible chunk of the sun that's flying out. What happens when it hits our planet, it causes auroras, it wiggles the magnetic field. The thing you really worry about is it can disrupt your GPS, it can mess with your communication satellites, it can mess with your power lines.
Is that like a solar flare? Or?
So yeah, so these hot spots are where the things are really kind of intense and bubbling. This is where it's basically reached the point where it just kind of completely blew off. You're actually not seeing the hot gas here because it's a lot around the sun. It's coming into our face.
Did we ever know this before? Or did we not take note of it?
Well, it's really very recent that we've even been able to see these things, and so we kind of knew, there's this constant low-level thing, a few $1 million a year damages, more or less, just our solar satellites, power lines, things. We knew that the sun was messing with us, and we didn't exactly know why. Now you see why, and the real worry is, this is actually, believe it or not, this is a small one. This is a minor one.
Wow. Can you tell us what this means then?
So what this means is, this is what the sun does all the time, and we don't really know why it does it. There's an 11-year cycle of solar activity, and right now we're going into a time of peak activity. And that's when all those things I was talking about before, we really need to watch for your power lines, your satellites, for all that.
But you just said something there. You said it happens all the time. If it happens all the time, is there a real risk to us? Or are we just noticing now?
Well, there's two parts. I mean, there's stuff like this. Like I said, this is actually not even a particularly bad one. So this is what happens all the time that we weren't really noticing, and that now we're starting to understand and forecast. But there are much more intense ones. There was a giant solar flare in 1962, right before we really had a whole lot of satellites. An even bigger one in 1859. And if something like that happened again, that could cause a global blackout.
You always talk about, solar flares as the biggest danger on a large scale. So we will see. Corey, thank you. Excellent explanation.
Oh, well, thank you.
And we'll call you Carl Sagan next time, okay? Cool?
Yeah, millions and millions of Earths would fit in this picture.
Yeah, nice.
Government health officials say heat waves are the deadliest extreme weather event. During the last decade, more than 150 people died from heat stroke in New York City alone. The Centers for Disease Control says people with chronic conditions, including obesity, are susceptible to the heat and need to stay cool and hydrated when temperatures rise. Children in Los Angeles are drinking less soda. LA County researchers say the percentage of kids who drink at least one soda every day dropped 14% between 2007 and 2011. Doctors say campaigns to educate parents about the negative effects of soda appear to be working. And Japanese researchers have engineered a strain of rice that may stop a common illness. The scientists added an antibody to rice that can fight off rotavirus. The sickness can lead to extreme dehydration, especially in developing countries. There is a vaccine, but doctors say the engineered rice would be a cheap and effective way to prevent rotavirus. Those are some of today's top health stories. I'm Vanita Nair, CBS News, New York.